How will the Panthers do in 2016? That's something that I often think about every year. But this year, obviously, the expectations are going to be pretty high. We're coming off a Super Bowl season, uh, a game where we were, what, 6.5 point favorites, and then we ended up losing by double digits, and very disappointing end, but it was still a great season nonetheless. I mean, we were getting comparisons to the 85 Bears and 98 Broncos, and just sucks that we couldn't finish all the way. But with that said, how are we going to do this year? Um, if anyone's been paying attention to the Panthers in the past, you know that the Panthers have never had a back-to-back winning year. But I think trends are meant to be broken. I think we have a good enough team to make it back to the playoffs and be an NFC contender again. With that said, our schedule is not nearly as easy as last year. Not just in terms of the caliber of opponent, but in terms of the distance that we're gonna have to travel. Last year, only having to go to Tennessee and North Florida, and it's we stayed on the Eastern Seaboard this year, and we have one trip to Seattle, but this year we have three trips to the West Coast, Los Angeles, Oakland, and Seattle. We have the trip to the middle of the country, so um, it'll be much harder to be the number one seed again. With that said, here are my realistic, non-homerish predictions for 2016. Starting week one, opening the season, the NFL season, at the Denver Broncos. I don't know much about the Broncos starting quarterback. I know it's going to be someone completely different, but I think we're going to lose that one. As much as I want to say that we're going to get some form of revenge, I don't. I think the defense is going to be too much. Cam Newton doesn't tend to play as well against stifling defenses like that, such as Denver and uh, Seattle, and I mean he's had problems with fast defenses like that. Um, when teams have top-notch defensive ends who can run him down, he just has issues, and I think Denver is a very tough place to play, and it's going to be in prime time, so the fans are going to be loud. So I think we're going to pick up a loss there. Week two, we have San Francisco. I don't really expect much of a. I think for one thing, uh, Denver's going to prep us pretty well. We're going to kind of get beat up on a little bit. I think it'll be a pretty good game against Denver, but being that it'll be such a physical game, that's going to prepare us for the next couple of weeks. And I think San Francisco is not going to be that much of a challenge. I think we'll get our first win, and then Minnesota, that that one will be a problematic game. Teddy Bridgewater, we tend to have problems with small wide receivers and mobile quarterbacks. And in this case, Teddy Bridgewater, he's a big physical guy, uh, very fast. So I think we're going to have some problems with him. Strangely enough, we've never had issues with stopping Adrian Peterson. I think we have some favorable matchups with our wide receivers against their defensive backs. Even though I do really like Captain Munderland, obviously. With that said, I think it'll be a really close game. It may come down to a field goal. Um, Fortunately, unlike in 2011 when we had Olindo Mare, I think we have a reliable kicker who can make some clutch kicks. I like Graham Gano. I think we can win a close one. Maybe we'll win by like three or something. Week four at Atlanta. That's a revenge game, our only regular season loss. I think in this one, as much as I would love to say we'll get our revenge, I think it'll be a great game. But and Cam Newton always shows out. Charles Johnson and Thomas Davis, they always show out against Atlanta. But I still think Atlanta's going to pull out a close one. It's going to be another one of those close games, just like the Minnesota game. I think Atlanta's on the winning end of it, though. So that'll get us to 2-2. Next up, you have Tampa Bay win. I mean, Tampa Bay has been rebuilding since 2007. They, Jameis Winston's moving in the right direction, but there's nothing about the two games that we played against him last year that leads me to believe that he's ready to beat us yet. He had like 5 turnovers against us in Tampa Bay last year, and then in Charlotte, they just got their ass whooped playing, and I was at that game. It was fairly cold, but it was a good game for us, not y'all. Tampa Bay. So 3-2 at New Orleans. I think we'll lose this game. We really should have lost it last year. We won 41-38. Um, it was thanks to Greg Olson that he made a clutch fourth down catch, and I remember Ted Ginn had a terrible drop for that should have been for a touchdown. But New Orleans, they really should have beaten us at least once last year, at least, if not both times. And I think they'll definitely get that one in New Orleans. So that be 3-3. Then we have a bye week. Then we have Arizona. Arizona, I think, I really think, as much as people want to say Arizona's going to be back, there were a lot of people talking about how Arizona was the best team in the NFC, and then we just bitch slapped the shit out of them. Arizona is the team that I think is going to be on the decline, even though their defense is still in place. They have a great secondary. They have some fast skill players. The problem is Carson Palmer. I think he's going to catch that Jake Delhomme-itis, and I think you Panther fans know what I'm talking about. I don't think he's going to respond well to the way he played in the NFC Championship game, and I don't think he's going to be the same. So, for that reason, I think Carolina wins that game. So 4-3 at the Rams. The Rams is another one of those fast defenses. They have one of the best defensive lines, along with Buffalo and Denver and some of those other teams. They just really fast, very physical. And Jeff Fisher, he's great at calling special teams trick plays, and I think the Rams are going to pull that one out. It'll be close game, maybe a little bit sloppy on our part, but I think the Rams pull that one out. So I think that's 4-4. Then the Chiefs. The Chiefs have beaten the Super Bowl champions back-to-back years, Patriots and then Broncos last season. With that said, I think we just match up well. We lost the last time we played the Chiefs, but that was after when their players committed suicide, and there was a very emotional game. Coming back to Bank of America Stadium, I think it makes a big difference trying to play in Charlotte as opposed to Kansas City. I think we're going to win that one. So 5-4, I believe that is. New Orleans on Thursday night. Last time we played New Orleans on Thursday night, we lost 28-10. By default, if we lose in New Orleans, I'm going to say we're going to win in Bank of America Stadium. It's just that simple. I think we're going to split with them. Okay. Then we go to Oakland. I think that will be the last 2 times we played Oakland. It's been sloppy, 17-6 games. A lot of sacks, penalties, just turnovers. I think this game is going to be kind of more the same. Derek Carr is a little bit concerning because he has the wheels, he has the arm, But with that said, he's still young, so we can take advantage of that. And I think we'll be able to pull that one out. All right, and then at Seattle, um, ooh, this is going to be one of the games of the year, I think. Very physical. Um, I wouldn't. The only issue is it's a primetime game on NBC, and Seattle tends to beat the dog shit out of teams on prime time. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if it were a Seattle blowout. You know, so that's typically it's a close game between us, but I think this game being on NBC for whatever reason, when it comes to New Orleans or Seattle in prime time, they just dominate teams, and I think we're going to be eating some humble pie after that game. All right, San Diego. We tend to own the Chargers. I think that's an easy W, and especially after you play such a hard team like Seattle, we're gonna be mad, you know, well prepped. So I think we're gonna blow out the Chargers. Although I do like Philip Rivers. And then at Washington, this will be nothing like last year. It'll be a close game. This is one of those games where we're clearly the better team, but I think we're going to play down to their level. So it'll be a close game, but I think at the end of the day, the Panthers pull it out. And it's a December game. Carolina tends to be pretty good in December. Next up, December 24th against Atlanta. This is a game I'm going to. Um, Saturday, 2 o'clock. I'm excited. And I think we're gonna kind of beat up on Atlanta. At least 2 scores in this game. They're just not that good on the road. Uh, Matt Ryan, even though he has a lot of weapons, it's gonna be hard for him to be able to hear, and I don't think Devontae Freeman's gonna be able to do enough. I think we're gonna be able to win, like I said, 2 scores. And then finally at Tampa Bay, New Year's Day, and I think once again we're gonna get another sweep of the Bucks. And until I see something different from the Bucks, I think we're gonna sweep them again. So I kind of lost track of the tallies there, but I do know for a fact that I have 5 losses, 11-5. Uh, just to recap the 5 losses: at Denver, at Atlanta, at New Orleans, at at Los Angeles, and then at Seattle. So I have 5 road losses. Can we make it back to the Super Bowl? We can. Will we? Probably not. Realistically, it's very hard. Uh, in the AFC, you've had Pittsburgh, and uh, it's always been Roethlisberger, Brady, and Manning always going pretty much. Maybe occasionally Flacco, but in the NFC, is always someone new. I think we will be good enough to be probably the best in the NFC South, maybe a 3 seed or something like that. But it's going to be very hard if we have to go through the Pacific Northwest to get back to the Super Bowl, and plus, it's just very different to play when you're the hunted as opposed to the hunter. So it's going to be a very difficult year. If we have a winning season, that would be great. Considering that we've never had back-to-back winning seasons, but I think barring injuries, and by injuries I mean Cam Newton, Luke Kuechly, and Kawan Short, barring those 3 guys staying healthy, I think we can have a really good year. I don't really see us going back to the Super Bowl yet, but I think we'll still be a force in the NFC. We're not going to be an easy out. So, with that said, thanks for watching. That's my realistic, non-homerish picks. 11-5 for the Carolina Panthers. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Peace.